Hello there, Seafood Perhacs here, and welcome to the Total System 2.0. I'm talking about spiritual training, and in this segment, this video, I'm going to talk about spirit and entity contact. Now, this is some really strange stuff, but again, along the lines of spiritual training, you're a spirit, I'm a spirit, we're all spiritual beings, right? So, if that's the case, then there must be other spirits that are out there. And it's really strange as you start to get your spiritual eyes open, as you start to become more sensitive and more psychic, so to speak, you're going to notice things. You're going to see things as shadows. You know, you've heard the expression, things that go bump in the night. Well, that's what this is. These are the ghosts, the entities that are out there. And I know some of you are saying, I don't believe in ghosts. And yet, if you look back over time, how many, ghost stories are there all the time? Why is that? See, when I started doing this training, the first question I asked is why? Why are people, what's the motivation to tell a story? Now, I can understand somebody telling a story today or yesterday, but how does something like ghost stories, or the concept of ghosts, the concept of people seeing ghosts, how does that go hundreds of years, that maybe thousands of years, and just perpetuate, unless there's some aspect of truth to it? Even in the Bible you can see that it talks about spirits. And so this concept is a real concept, and it's a reality to me. I've seen these things, I've experienced this. It's just one of those things. And as you become more dense with the energy, you're going to start to recognize it's just the natural progression. When I first started training, I didn't want to see anything, quite frankly. But then I realized that I needed to go through it. And at first, when I first started this, I used to be kind of afraid of the dark. A lot of people are. Do you know why they're afraid of the dark? Because sometimes they know something's there. Once I started doing this training, I was no longer afraid. Not like I was really afraid of the dark, but I was never afraid of the dark ever again. This also brings up the concept of the reality of multiple planes of existence. And again, as a spiritual entity, if we're a spirit, that means we can go wherever we want. Anywhere we want. And I think even scientists are proving these days that there are definitely multiple planes of existence. Now again, when you talk about this multiple planes of existence, a lot of people say, well, prove it. You can only prove it within yourself. That's the bottom line. I will teach you how to prove it within yourself, and then you can say you know it's real. But I can't show you. How could I show you myself? Am I going to take you there? No. Obviously if we're training together, it's quite possible, but by that time you're already a believer. So it's kind of hard to take a non-believer and make them a believer if that's not the case. When you get into these types of esoteric concepts, more questions go unanswered. You have a lot of questions in the beginning, but as you start developing and as you start getting more open to these things, you really have more questions than you have answers. It's kind of like, okay, I saw that happen, but why? Why did this happen? Why did that happen? How did this situation occur? And it really comes down to the fact that there's a lot of things that just go unanswered in this life. And that obviously there will come a time where you will know it. Here's the fact though. Since your spirit is everlasting, you already know the answers. You just have to find them. A lot of people bring up angels, demons, other entities, and ask me about that. Like, how can you determine if you see something, if it's an angel, if it's a demon, if it's other, you can tell by the energy. As you become more sensitive to energy, you can tell what is in the room with you. Now, personally, I don't really like anything in my room except for people. And so when I feel things like that, I rebuke them out of my house. I'm a Christian, so I rebuke them out in Jesus' name. And just get them out of my house. They have to obey. You're stronger than they are. But you have to believe it. Now, a lot of times people will say, like I said, before I come from a strict Christian background. I come from a Pentecostal Christian background. I was married in a Baptist church. I was baptized. So we're talking very conservative people that they would probably not even want me in their church anymore if they knew that I taught these types of things. But this is a reality to me. So it's not like I'm going against what those people are teaching. I'm just a little bit more enlightened on the way things are. I know the reality that there are demonic things out there. There are also angelic things out there. And then there also are the others, which, could be disembodied spirits, people that have died. And I don't really have all the answers. Like I said, there's a lot of questions out there that are unanswered, and I probably won't have answers for them for quite some time, and neither will you. But one thing I can be assured of is as you go through this training, you're going to experience a lot of these types of things. You're going to experience the light and the dark, because let's face it, when you get through this training, you're going to be attacked by certain things because it's just the nature of the way it is. The thing is, you just got to be going in and be unafraid and know that you're protected and that you don't have to worry about it. When it comes to things like this, though, some people will see them, some will hear them, only hear, and then others will both. They can actually see these entities, they can hear them, they can even converse with them. Now, obviously, let's take a look at mediums. Like if you've seen individuals on TV, John Edward, for example, does a lot of this. You'll notice when he's picking up these messages from the other side, his thing is crossing over. I think that's his TV show, or it used to be, or whatever. Is that I don't think he sees them, because I never see him looking. I see him like moving his head to hear it. So he's a medium that hears these messages, but doesn't necessarily see them. Watch him next time when he's on TV or whatever. Now, some people might say, hey, the guy's a farce or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, you don't pick up 100% golden information every time you run into something like that. So anybody that tells you that they do, they're just giving you a bunch of baloney. This also brings up the concept of realization of multiple lives. And I know to a lot of people, this goes against the grain of what they're taught, in their religious structure. But even if you look at the Bible, you can see how it talks about the concept of multiple lives. Because your spirit is everlasting, so it just makes sense that that would be the case. And so many people remember those past lives. How can that possibly be if that's not true? Now, I know what some people would say, oh, that's being planted in their mind by the devil, or by a devil or a demon or something like that. And the question I have for them is, how do you know that? How do you know? And that's what I ask people when they give me ridiculous answers. But I just wanted to cover this thing for you, because when we go into spiritual training, it encompasses a wide range of really esoteric and what I consider cool things. I mean, when I first got started, this was the furthest thing from my mind. I was not interested. I didn't go to ghost movies. I didn't go to horror movies. I was not interested in anything like this. And yet, as I started doing the training, I understood that it was definitely something that was going to be a reality in my life. And then the last thing I like to say is, are we gods? And the question is, if we're made in God's image, then certainly we must be. Think on that. I mean, it's kind of a unique concept, and some people will read that and say, oh my God, I can't believe he even said that. It's just a question, and it's just a concept that I want you to understand and maybe look up and research and pray about and kind of tap into that and see if it's something that's a reality in your life. Please don't take it the wrong way. Just thought I'd pose it for you. So, how do you do spiritual training? This is kind of a wrap-up. It's physical plus mental equals spiritual. You see, you got to take that physical training, which is going to open up the body. It's going to start to sensitize the body like it's never been sensitized before. You take the mental training, which allows you to open up your mind to the possibilities of all of these things that are happening. And then as a result, you start to get the spiritual benefits that you're looking for. Now, obviously, there's spiritual training that is involved that is going to allow you to get those benefits even quicker. And the last thing is, psychic is spiritual. Because when you tap into that spiritual sense, you do get a psychic sense. And I know that word is kind of weird to a lot of people. When I first started training, I just thought that was a bunch of baloney. And the thing is now, since I've been doing this training, I understand it as a reality. And I think once you go through the training system, the Total System 2.0, you're going to realize a lot of these things are a reality that you never thought would be a reality before. So I've enjoyed sharing this series of videos with you. Hopefully you've got some great information. Obviously in the Total System 2.0, we go into a lot more detail on all of these concepts that will allow you to really bring this to the forefront of your mind, body, and spirit and get it working in proper working order. I've enjoyed sharing this information with you. Thanks for watching and have a great day. So long.